Hey, I'm Courtney. Yeah, I bleached the top half of my hair. I need to do a hair mask though because my hair feels extremely greasy and I think it got damaged from the bleaching process. I don't know, I got the highest rated bleach that Sally sold, and I don't know why it's so highly rated, I guess, because my hair be looking damaged as fuck right now. But we'll fix it. It'll be fine. Anyway, I make fitness and wellness content alongside advocating for mental health and stuff like that. I know, bonus video this week, right? It's so great. I felt that it was kind of necessary because I'm currently going through a lot right now. Very high stress, very high anxiety, and I've been feeling very, very burnt out, to be honest. So I want to talk about mental health in this video. My background, advocating for yourself when needed, and some tips for coping in your own life if you struggle with that stuff. Tips that personally worked for me. And here are my credentials. I'm diagnosed with PTSD, borderline personality disorder, anxiety, and depression. So basically, I grew up going through a lot of trauma. My mom was not the best. She's also diagnosed borderline, and it was very hard to deal with her, and I didn't realize that I grew up through so much trauma until I reached my adult life. And I realized a few years ago that it really took a toll on my life and how I deal with life, because she would frequently get suicidal and then, I don't know, just crash out pretty much. So, and my parents are divorced. They divorced when I was 5. I did get to see my dad, like, on the weekends and stuff like that, but he would take me out. We'd probably go to, like, Mohegan Sun or something, or go get lunch. And then fast forward to when I was 20, I left my ex-boyfriend because I didn't see a future for us, to be honest. I was going to work while my boyfriend would sit at home all day and play my PS3. Or sorry, my PS4, because I got a PS4. And his mom wouldn't let him get a job, and she wouldn't even give him his social security card so he could get a job. She was just paranoid as fuck. So yeah, I left. I got into another relationship with someone that I worked with. And then it turned out to be abusive. Like, first came the lying, then the cheating, then the money stealing, and then the gaslighting and physical violence. My dad knew about this, so he made a plan to... My dad knew about this, kind of, and so when I was 22, he and his girlfriend came and took me to a bar in Rhode Island. It's like a state away from where I live, and basically convinced me to move in with my grandma in Massachusetts. And I was pretty drunk. I agreed, and, I was, telling them about what happened and whatever. And eventually, like, I stayed with my grandma in Massachusetts for a night, and then the next morning I wanted to go back to live with my boyfriend at the time. So I didn't last very long. I don't know, I just don't deal with change very well, and I couldn't stand being away from my home state, let alone my hometown, and it was just a very stressful event for me. So needless to say, my boyfriend came to pick me up all the way in Massachusetts, brought me home, and then my manager, of who I was working with at the time, expected me to come to work as soon as I got back. And I was exhausted. I was so tired from all the crying, and I had the worst headache, and it was just really bad. Eventually, my family saw the bruises, and they called the police. And I tried to lie to the police at first, but they knew I was lying, so I had to tell the truth. And my ex-boyfriend was pretty mad at me that I did tell the truth. When he got out of jail and whatever. They only held him for a night, but he had to go through court for a couple years until they closed the case. He had to go to classes and whatever. And before I started medication, I didn't see a need to get medicated, and I held off on it for a long time. I started seeing this psychiatrist who prescribed me with Abilify. Terrible medication for me, terrible. May work for others, but it didn't work for me, to be honest. It didn't work, but I was too afraid to speak up. Like, I didn't want to upset anyone, and I didn't want to stress out, so I just was like, yeah, it's working, whatever. Eventually, I did speak up, and I said, hey, this isn't working. So he just upped my dose and didn't want to switch me off of it. And this medication made me sleep for over 16 hours a day. I would fall asleep standing up at work. And I constantly wanted to, like, kill myself. I was so suicidal on this medication, and it just got worse. I stopped taking it eventually, and about a year later, I got on the right medication with a new provider, and then she ended up giving up on me and stopped scheduling appointments with me. So I'm on my third provider now, my third psychiatrist now, that I'm working with now, to manage my symptoms. And I just saw her, like, right before I filmed this, and I just got prescribed Lexapro and hydroxyzine to manage anxiety symptoms, because I've been experiencing really bad anxiety this past week, and overall my entire life, but it's just been getting worse this week. But it is so important that you advocate for yourself in moments that you feel are not right. Getting the right medication, not being treated fairly, speaking up in moments of injustice. Communication is so much more important than you think. Really, it is. If you don't advocate for yourself, nothing is going to change for you. And you will continue to live in that vicious cycle, stuck in something that's not working for you. Or it's uncomfortable for you, you know? It may feel scary to speak up about something, but the payoff is so rewarding. Not speaking up for yourself will only hurt you in the long run. And some people suck at taking medication, myself included. There are some days where I forget to take all of my meds, or I'll only take certain medications. If you go too long without taking it, and you take it again, certain medications will fuck you up, like, for real. I know, because I've experienced it. I was on the highest dose of Vraylar, and I stopped taking it for a month, and then I started taking it again, and I was at work, probably like 4 hours after I took it, and I was basically unconscious, so my coworker had to call the ambulance. Another lady patient in the hospital was talking shit about me, saying, like, oh, she's doped up on heroin, blah, blah, blah. I know this because my husband was telling me this. Like, I was gone. I was absolutely zonked. My best advice for you is to find a time that you will be most likely to take your medication. Like, the easiest time for you. Everyone's different, but my time is right before I go to work, because I have my medication in a certain area that I always go to like brush my hair or something before I go to work. And make this a habit, and eventually it'll become automatic for you to take it, and it'll feel weird to not do that habit. My thyroid medication is a little trickier because I have to take it. I have to wait 4 hours after I eat, and I have to wait another hour after I take it. Because food will interfere with the effectiveness. So I take that one when I wake up in the middle of the night. Another recommendation is a pill organizer. I use one that my grandma gave me. There are also days where you feel great and you feel like you don't need medication and you can be off your medication. Don't do this. Please do not do this, because you are on medication for a reason, and if you stop taking it, you'll see the reason, I promise you. Another thing, I think everybody deserves somebody to talk to. Therapy is such a useful tool for everybody who just needs to talk to somebody, and especially work through trauma. I think everybody should go to therapy if they have the means to. Finding the right therapist can be really hard, though. It will feel like some therapists don't even listen to you or are not interested in what you have to say. You feel like there's not really a connection there. I got lucky with mine. The first therapist I picked, I stuck with for the next 8 years. I'm still with her now. I've been going to her since 2018, when I was like 20 years old. If someone isn't the right fit, don't be afraid to try different ones until you can find someone that you trust. Also, people and providers will give up on you sometimes. But it's important that you don't give up on yourself because you matter. Over the years, I've built up an arsenal of coping tools I utilize when I'm not feeling my best mentally. These include breathing exercises to calm down the nervous system, doing something distracting such as watching a comfort show or movie, or doing Sudoku, like brain games, brain puzzles to, work your brain so you can get your mind off of stress or stressful situations that you've experienced. Stretching, taking a hot shower, because the mental boost you get when you're fresh and clean is literally unmatched. Journaling your feelings to get your thoughts unscrambled and out on the paper. Going to the gym, because I always feel so much better after. My mood is so great. It's high. Really good. Taking a social media break, because sometimes social media can make us feel a certain type of way, and usually that type of way is negative. So if you feel like you need a social media break, take one, please. And meditation to calm down the mind and focus on the present moment. You will eventually find your own coping tools to help you, but these are mine. I know that a lot of people struggle with binge eating and emotional eating, and I'm in the process of fixing my brain in that department as well. One thing that got me through the feeling of wanting to eat my feelings is the fact that, what is eating all this food going to do for me? What is it going to solve? What is it going to fix? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's not going to fix you. It's not going to fix your problems. Literally, it does nothing for you. So if you want to ruin your progress and add absolutely nothing to your life, then eat your feelings away. Otherwise, don't do it. Use another coping tool, a good coping mechanism that will actually help you. Like, distract yourself, journal, I don't know. Do something other than eating, because it has no benefits for you. Really, truly. Because when you are trying to emotionally eat, you're essentially binge eating, and you're eating way more than you think you should. Because I know when I emotionally ate, I would go to the gas station and I would pick up a sweet snack, a savory snack, and then something else. I know I picked like at least 3 different things, and then a drink. I would eat everything, even if I was full. Does nothing for you. Our mindset does control a lot, but you do have control over your mind and your thoughts and your emotions. You just have to try, You have to train it like any other muscle. Truly. And also, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. With this kind of title, Car Talks with Courtney. Or something. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I'd like to know. It'd be a lot of different topics, but I think I want the overall feeling to be wellness/mindset. Let me get your thoughts on that. Let me know. I want to know what you think. I think this would be the first episode, so yeah. Anyway, that was my little talk on mental health and advocating for yourself, coping tools and mechanisms that you can utilize. Basically everything that I covered. And thank you so much for listening in and watching me and just hearing what I have to say. I really appreciate you guys, and this is really fun for me. I really like to make videos and talk to anybody, really. It's really fun for me. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.